Sometimes it's hard to give God praise for all the things He has done, 'cause our sinful nature makes us feel ashamed. But He loves it when we honestly say, I'm a wretch undone. So this word is to encourage you today. He's extending grace to you, no matter who you are or what you've done. Grace to you. No one's disqualified from His love. Grace to you.
Africans in this country faced what looked like absolutely impossible odds in colonial America. We were torn apart from families, deprived of education, overworked in fields and houses. And African American men and women found an unexpected comfort and peace and hope in the very book that was regularly used to justify their enslavement and oppression. They found comfort in the stories of Moses delivering his people out of bondage. They found comfort in Daniel finding safety in the stories of Daniel, who found safety in the lion's den. And dare I say that they found comfort in the stories of the three Hebrew boys when they listened to how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood in the fiery furnace. And even though it looks like they were getting ready to be burned up, they said, "Oh King, even if our God does not deliver, He is still able to deliver." That's the kind of faith that we walk in. It's the faith that kept our people, that even in the evidence of a day-by-day reality, that many of them found little evidence in their very life that they was living, that their existential reality would ever get better, or that things would ever improve for them. Indeed, even the example of our rejected, abandoned, and crucified Christ, which we will celebrate in not many days hence, resonates now with the African American that regularly felt base, painful emotions like loneliness and despair. And even God in the flesh could identify, we could identify with God in the flesh as He cried out on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" And the prevailing sentiment amongst many African American adopters of Christianity was that even if the living God was not going to show up and deliver them from slavery, that the faithfulness of God would be seen in not many days. And they would say things like, "God, even if you don't deliver me, deliver my children and my children's children." Come on now, I tell you, we have a legacy of faith. It was in this peculiar context of accepting Christianity under the most extreme physical and emotional conditions in our nation's history that birthed the faith of a people. If the experiences and the contributions of Black Christians in America were only for us, or only affected a few, or only benefited one segment of America, then that would be a tragedy. If we could only look back at our history and talk about what was and what used to be and how tragic or how bad things might have been, we would not be able to unearth the deep value of history and learning lessons and gain principles from our past so that we can live a future, live a present day life and live a future that better honors our God and our Lord. I want to give you about 3 points. I'm just going to give you 3 things I want you to think about on your way out today. There are 3 tenets of the Christian faith that African Americans have uniquely contributed to. Number 1, they prayed by faith. Say they prayed by faith. They preached by faith. Say they preached by faith. Here's the last thing. They praised God by faith. They prayed by faith. One of the unique features of the African American church that I want to share with you today, and this one right here, if it was ever a time where we needed to lift up this particular ethic, is this particular thing right here. They prayed by faith. They built houses of prayer. See, when they came to church, they wasn't looking necessary for a superstar preacher. They weren't necessarily necessarily listening for their favorite song, come on now, or their favorite psalmist. They came in because they wanted to touch God in prayer. The houses were built on prayer. They had a focus on prayer. Prayer was forged out of a desperate situation or a desperate time in a life of a people. Early African American prayer life typified the saying that you never realize that Jesus is all you need until Jesus is all that you have. Do I have any witnesses in the room right now? You didn't know that he was all that you needed until you got down to your last dime, until your back was up against the wall. Come on now. You didn't know that you could take it until you had to take it. You didn't know that you can go through until you had to go through, but it was your prayer life that took you through. If we could be on a fly on the wall of black churches during that time, during that era, we would find that the houses were filled with men and women, boys and girls, pastors and lay people alike, who were speaking to God as if he was in the very room right then. I have fond remembrances of my grandmother talking to God while walking through the house, or come on, anybody know what I'm talking about, or working in the kitchen, as if he was right there walking through the house, and she said, show you right. And you say, what? Somebody in the room? She walking through, she said, yeah, I know that's right. As if somebody was standing in the room right there, as if somebody was patting her on the back right there. She was talking to her God. That we would get back to the church, and we would get back in this present time to having people that would have a relationship with God, where you could talk to him like he was right there, like he was in the very room. See, some of you all are too worried about getting to the church house so you can talk to the bishop, or so you can talk to the pastor, or so you can talk to the intercessor or the elders or the ministers. But I believe there's about 20 or 30 or 40, 100 folk in the room right now. You know that you can talk to God wherever you are. Come on now, come on. You can talk to him in the car. Come on. You can talk to him washing dishes. You can talk to him while you're folding clothes. You can talk to him behind the computer. Tell your neighbor, we got a legacy of prayer. I like the way they would say it. They would get down on their knees, and they would open their mouth, and they would say something like, Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No other help I know. If thou withdraw thyself from me, whither shall I go? Tell your neighbor, we got a legacy of prayer. We have a legacy of prayer. During the civil rights movement, black churches in cities like Montgomery and Birmingham and Alabama regularly held community-wide prayer meetings in which every issue and every need and every petition was laid out before the Lord in prayer, with the expectation that God would one day hear us and answer us. I like it because they prayed, and whether it was going to happen in that, most of them knew it wasn't going to happen in their day. So when they would get down on their knees, they would say, God bless my children and my children's children. Let me help you understand something, honey. I know you're wonderful, but can I suggest to you that you didn't get here on your own prayers?